Greetings. This is Arvette McClaine with Speak, the Universe Listens. New ways to view age-old challenges. Change your thoughts, change your life. Step into the bigness of you.
Hey, fellas.
Hey.
Of course, as you can see, we have Scott joining us again this week. Yes, thank you for being here. Welcome. We're always happy to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you. Happy to be here.
Thank you.
Hey, look, this time I wanted to kind of come on here because I've been having another question going on, right? And this is something I hear from a lot of people along the way as well. You know, one of the things we all talk about is how powerful our minds are. And how we change our thoughts, we change our experiences. You know, we talk about that type of stuff kind of frequently. But if my mind is so powerful, why is it that I don't have all the things that I've been saying I wanted? Why I don't have, as we talked about a little earlier, why I don't have that Bentley right now? What's happening?
Oh man, it's I'm glad you brought this topic up. I was talking to Ron, and we were having a good conversation. And it was literally right about this, and I was telling him about an experience that I had recently had, and how I pretty much sort of overcame it. Basically, about how I thought. So I had this time as to where I had like this financial chokehold on me, right? And in this time frame, I'm sitting back and I'm looking at, all right, when is this gonna be over? When is this gonna be over, right? And I was going through it, we talking about like months, and then months turned into almost a year. And I'm like, all right, so the first, I would say 4 months, I kept looking at lack. That's where my mind was at. I'm like, all right, well, you know, I can't wait till it's over with, right? So I would say maybe give or take 2-3 weeks towards the end, I stopped caring. Like, I already knew what to expect, you know, when it came, because I already knew what was gonna happen and what I was looking at. But the moment I just stopped caring about it, that's when the chokehold just uplifted, and I was like, yes! I was like, freedom! I was like, yes, yes! But it's so amazing. I think what I've learned in that time frame was I was so focused on the lack. I was so focused on when is this gonna be over, that I couldn't put my mind in the state of knowing that it's gonna be over. You good, you're okay, because I was too focused on the 3D. I was too focused on what I was seeing, what I was going through. And when I literally took the time out to, like, it just came naturally, stop caring, because that's when I had more faith in knowing that things were gonna be okay. That's what I noticed the difference. And when that happened, it was like, look at that. look at that. So, yeah, one thing I would tell anybody in that situation, not even just that situation, but just when it comes to your mind, you create your circumstances. And we always say this all the time, and we really don't understand how powerful our thoughts are. If you thinking like, dang, when is this going to be over? I mean, I remember Arvette said something to me before about it, like, well, when you keep saying, when is it going to be over? 9 times out of 10, it's never gonna be over. You know, right. So when you shift your thinking on it, and it takes time. It's, you know, because we're so used to seeing the 3D, what we see. But the moment that you shift your mind and you stop thinking about the hows, the ifs, and the wins, and just sort of just step out there on faith with the knowing, that's when everything starts to fall in place for you.
And I like that word that you're using there, that 3D. I was listening to Joseph Murphy before. He calls those senses calls our census gangsters because they always lying to you.
I like that. I like
Like, you
that.
gotta go to them gangsters. You gotta go to them gangsters.
That's a good one. I like that.
I think a lot of times too, when we saying, okay, I want to have this, I want to have that, and these things. I know a lot of times for me, when I'm putting my mind on something, I'm thinking about, all right, how can I get this? Like, how is it gonna look? So we talking about the Bentley. Now I got to figure out, okay, well, what can I do to make enough money to get a Bentley? Like, you know, it's like I'm putting all this resistance on the possibility, the million different possibilities of how it can happen. Because it's a million ways to do one thing. But if I'm saying, oh, I wanted to look like this how I want to get rich or whatever. Mm-hmm. I wanted to look just like this, and I'm taking the possibility of all of these ways of getting rich and narrowing it down to how I wanted to look and cutting off all the other possibilities. Mm-hmm. So I think with that, we add a lot of resistance to the things we want more of.
Mm-hmm. Not saying it's got to be a certain way.
Right.
Yeah.
And we keeping that in our head instead of saying, okay, this is how I want to feel, and I'm going to just focus on that, on me wanting to feel like that, instead of, no, I want to feel like this from this thing. Mm-hmm. And this process of it, instead of, no, this is the feeling and I don't care how I get it.
Yeah. Putting the limitations on it.
Right.
Mm-hmm. See, I like what everybody's saying too, because I actually think that the answer to the question is in the question. You know, honestly, it's like, all right, if my mind is so powerful, why don't I have these things? Well, because your mind is that powerful that you keep creating the reason why you don't have these things. So I love that question actually, because it's like, dang, like, yeah, well, you know, if my mind is so strong, then why don't I have it? And it's like, well, what do I be thinking? Like, now you got to sit down and really think, all right, well, what am I putting my mind on? And, you know, the minute you start putting your mind on the things that you do want, and not even want, the minute you start putting your mind on what you would like to feel, I think you start getting things that you wouldn't even imagine that you wanted in that moment. But it's like, oh, no, I do want this because this makes me feel this way. And so I think that, yeah, I just love that question because the answer is right there. Like, your mind is what's blocking you from your Bentley.
Yes. Yes.
And to go piggyback off what you were saying, Teron, I had a moment as to where it was like one of those aha moments, right? Mm-hmm. And I was just thinking about this topic right here, and I had a lot of downtime, right? Because everybody knows, like, I used to just work. That's all. I mean, that's all I do. Just work. Never took time out for myself, right? Until I was actually forced to. I got to sit down now, and now I have all of this time, right? So in the midst of me having all of this time, the aha moment came as to where I had a project in my mind that I started way back, never finished. I had this time to better myself, right? So it dawned on me, I was like, all right, because I'm constantly thinking about chasing the money, you know, making sure I'm getting bills paid and making sure everything is good. Work, right? So me working is nothing enjoyable, but when it comes to this one thing that I really want to do, right, I enjoy it. I like it. I love it, right? So it dawned on me as to where it was like, you know what, Steve? If you did the thing that you really, really wanted to do, if you sit back and utilize this time, you know, this downtime, then you can actually, you wouldn't have to worry about financial, money-wise. I mean, money will come to you because if you did the thing that you like to do, the money is gonna come to you without you trying to chase. Mm-hmm. And so, in that midst of time, and it took a while for me to actually get there, but when I got there, I was like, that's what this time was for. You know, that this sit down time, this time that I had to myself, I had to really sit back and evaluate that little space in my life as to where it's like, okay, so you thinking so much of, like I said again, the 3D and the lack of what you don't got, and you're chasing and chasing. Yeah. money. Yeah. And literally, all I had to do was just, just know that if I was to do that thing that I like to do, chase after it, I wouldn't have to be chasing the bag. It'd be chasing me. But that's how powerful our minds are, because you how you think about something, how you view things, it always plays out.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
There's as we're talking, I'm kind of thinking about an experience that I had a little while back, and so one of the things that I've been trying to do is I've been playing around with some bots, with some automatic trading stuff, so that I want money to just happen without me. And so I've got a bot that's trading on what's called a trading challenge. And so if it, to take a trade automatically, it has a stop loss. If it's stop loss, I lost money. If it hits take profit, makes money. And so it took a trade one night, and I'm looking at it before I went to sleep, and it was looking horrible. It was about to hit stop loss. It was like way down there. I was like, and I could feel some kind of way. I was feeling very uncomfortable. I was like, I felt like someone was taking something from me. So I was feeling some kind of way, and I'm seeing this just like a couple of dollars from hitting the stop loss. Just something just real close. And one of the things that I decided to do right at that moment, because I caught myself in this thinking. So at that moment, I stopped and I kind of allowed myself to go into a little meditation per se. And similar to what you were saying, you went to this place where you didn't care anymore. Right. And what I did was I removed my attachment to whether it was going to win or whether it was going to lose. I removed all my attachment, so it was no energy in either direction. And so I was just neutral. Because so what's the worst thing that would happen if it took a L? I'd be good. If it won, I'd be good. I mean, so either way, it's all good. And so I just removed all energy from it altogether. And I went to sleep. I slept peacefully. When I woke up that morning, it was a part of me that wanted to go and just check, just to see did it. Right. And I had the thought. I was like, well, it was so close. I'm sure. And so. But then I decided to play around a little bit. So I allowed myself to go into a meditation. And in this meditation, I remembered how powerful God is. And you think about, God controls every star, every planet, all at the exact same time. So it's like whatever can be done is an easy thing for God to do, plain and simple. And so I remember how powerful God is. I'm remembering that God wants for me that which I choose to experience. And another way of saying it is whatever I'm thinking about, whatever I'm feeling about, that's what God is going to have take place. So at that point, I chose to feel and imagine that trade actually won. I could see the account balance just in my mind's eye. And I could see it, I could visually, I could see it as though it was actually taking place. And it was at one point I felt joy, I felt happy. And I was like, let me go look. But energetically, something said, wait, just hold off. Stay in this energy for a moment. And so I stayed in that energy. I stayed in that place where I could see it happening, I could feel it happening. It was like the full experience of I was trading gold for price of gold to just shoot up and actually hit that take profit. And at a certain point, there was this peace that came over me. And it was like, all right, it's done. So I get out of bed, I grab my phone, and a notification came up saying it hit take profit. And I'm like, right? Yeah. And then I went to the account to see what the balance was, and it was exactly what I was visualizing in my mind's eye. Man. And so one of the pieces I think there was, a couple of pieces there was to first get out of my own way, to not be in that place of saying, I needed to win, or I can't believe it's going to lose, or whatever. You know, so to get to that place, I don't even know the best wordage for that energy, but to remove any attachment from either direction. Because what I'm doing now is I'm removing any limitations from it. And then to understand it is not about my strength, but it's about the strength of God. It's about the strength of the universe. The universe can do anything. There's nothing that's impossible to the universe. There's nothing that's too challenging, is too minuscule, it's none of that. But what is it that I'm feeling? What is it that I'm speaking and I'm thinking, I'm visualizing? What is it that I'm requesting from my energy? What am I sending out? And so to get to that place of understanding the strength, the power that's there, and then to consciously make a choice, to make the choice and to not waver on that choice. So I didn't go back and say, oh no, it's not gonna do it. You know, I completely saw the completion of it. And it was really nice as well when I pulled up a chart in those last like 10, 15 minutes of my meditation. The price of gold was all the way there and it just went straight up. And it was just beautiful. It was something that dreams could be made of. You know, it's like, and then it was just about that feeling, I believe, as well, that kind of took place. So sometimes we'll think a certain thing and we'll say, you know what, I want this to happen. And we leave it at that. We might even say it energetically. Oh yeah, this would be nice if this happened. Oh, God, give me this. Universe, give me this. But we're not getting ourselves to that place where we're feeling it. Right. We're not getting ourselves to that place where we're in the energy of actually having it. And that's where distinction becomes right there. It's about, do you have it? Are you experiencing the having of it? You know, and so I think that's a key piece that a lot of times we might forget on that.
I like that. I can totally relate. You know, I have seen associates, you know, friends, as to where they would talk to me and they'd be like, well, they'll ask the same question. Well, how can I have something, and how can my mind get what I want, right? And I just basically tell them, well, it's all about how you feel, you know. I mean, if you walk around and you know you have an exam to take, right? If you study for your exam, you know, you're confident in yourself, you feel good, 9 times out of 10, what do you think gonna happen? When you take that exam, you confident, you're secure within yourself. You know without a shadow of a doubt, you're gonna pass it. And then what happened? You pass it. Let's say you sit back, you go, I don't know, to the DMV, go take your motorcycle license, try to get it. But you so scared you're gonna fail. It's likely you're gonna fail. So it's all about, like you said, it takes a while to actually feel it and being in that energy before you actually physically can have it. But like you said, if you feel it and already being it, if you're being it already before you physically have it, it's going to manifest for you. It's going to happen for you. And it took me a long time to actually get to that point, as to where I had to, because I was so caught up in the 3D world of I got to see. You know, I got to see it to believe it. We talked about that before. And a lot of the time, we're so just caught up on just not seeing it. So it's hard to believe that it can happen for you. And so for me, mine was lack. You know, I came from lack. So now I'm moving in my new journey, my new path. I moved away from that. So I have my times, though. Don't get me wrong. I have my times. I do. But I'm better as far as believing within myself and just having that faith and knowing that things will work for me, for my favor, because I feel it and I believe it.
Yeah, so. Yeah. Leave that lack behind.
Yeah.
Leave behind. Yeah.
So I think whatever I would have wanted to say has been said, because I did want to make that distinction between thinking and feeling. And I also wanted to make the distinction that you say, like the answer to the question is in the question. And I think the last thing that I want to do, because a lot of times we say we get it. But then we still say, where my stuff at?
So, wait a minute.
Where are my stuff? So I think I would actually like to have a volunteer to walk through the process of having it now. I'm feeling it now. I'm already it now. And you know, like I told y'all several times, like my experience with just feeling like I was trapped. And then like what I was doing was visualizing and feeling into the energy of freedom. And I would be so free. Oh my gosh, I'd be so free in my mind. And then I open my eyes and I'm like, this is not working. And so it wasn't until I was like, you know, I can look at the sky anytime I want to. You know, I can get in my car, I can go anywhere I want to go. And like starting to feel free right now, then that's when everything changed in an instant. And so I've said it a whole lot of times, but I wonder, has anyone actually did it since I said it? Have y'all actually done that? So anybody want to do it now?
I'll do it now.
Okay. So what's something that you want to feel more of?
Well, that's actually a good question. It's very similar to what you just said. I want to feel more free in a sense. It's I've spoken to y'all about time, and I feel like, I just don't have enough, or it's too much. So I like to feel more free in the world, to just be free to do whatever I want to do when I want to do it.
So is there any places in your life right now where you're already free?
Yes, actually, in my employment world, I'm free. I am free to explore any projects I would like to do. I'm free to pick up on the different avenues I want to when I think about it. It's actually throughout my day, I'm free to talk to people throughout the day when I want to talk to people. I'm free to do a lot actually when I'm sitting there thinking about it. Like if it's a typical Monday and I'm just like, man, you know, I want somebody to talk to, I'm very free to pick up my phone and say, well, hey, Aunt Yvette, like what you got going on today? We can just have a conversation, come up with good ideas like that. I am free. Man, I got a lot of free. So yeah, I think right there in that space I'm free, and also it's very minuscule, not minuscule though, but in travel I'm free. I feel like there's not any place that I don't have the capability of going to. My car works fine. I'm able to get in the car and go places. I walk a lot more now. I'm free to travel. So I'm free to travel. I'm free to spend my time how I like to already. Okay. Well, wait a minute here now. A lot of freedom.
Yeah, who told you to put that on today?
I was free to choose this. This was my choice. Yes, it was. So I'm free to choose the clothes that I wear. I'm free to choose when I want to talk to people, when I want to talk to them too. Like I don't have to talk to somebody when I don't want to, and when it's a time where I feel like I really want to talk to somebody. Everybody's always button away, so free to speak to people. Let's see, where else am I free at?
What you eat today?
Oh man, I kind of eat good today. I'm free to go to the places that I like to eat. I'm also free to be able to try new things, because I tried somewhere new today. Well, not somewhere new. I tried something new today. I made a new dish, so I'm free to try new things. I'm also free to eat what I want to eat. Let's see, what else? Where else am I free at?
Sound like you free.
Yeah, thank you. It does. I'm free to get my thoughts off here. Honestly, this is a lot of freedom for me. So I'm free to speak the words that I want to speak, and I'm not being persecuted or held down for them. A lot of freedom.
Okay, so now you have spoken it.
Mm-hmm.
Can you feel it? Can you, like in this moment, can you make
Right
yourself
here.
feel, dang, I can say whatever I want to say without being locked up? Like to really
I can do
feel
that.
into
Yes,
that.
I can. It's let's lean into that, because leaning into it is just this rambling part of it. Honestly, I just want to be able to free to talk. So yeah, this is it. I just want to come in here and pod. Like, you want me to be honest, my day to day, I just want to pod, and this is what it looks like. So thank y'all. I'm free to do this, and I'm feeling that freedom of, like, these cameras come on, I just get to hang out with my family and talk. That's a good time. Okay.
So yeah, but exactly what Teron just did. He could literally go on and on forever. Like, you can really, like, seriously, like, if you really start thinking about what you're free to do, you're free to drink clean water, you know, like, you can do things like, I can brush my teeth whenever I want. Like, we just have so many freedoms, right? Like, so many freedoms. You can think whatever you want to think, feel whatever you want to feel, etc. And so you can do that with anything, though. Like, you can just take the time and sit and think of where you're already abundant, where you're already able to create whatever you want to create. Like, you can just take the time and do that. And it's not just a mental game, it's a feeling game. And so you need to be it now. Feel free now. Feel abundant now. Feel, what was the other thing you were saying? I can't remember. I think that was the main thing, though, chasing money. Feel those things right now, because if you're saying, I'm trying to get it, then you're in the state of trying to get it, and you'll be in that state for a long time.
Well said. Yeah. Now, and I loved how you're showing how you can bring in whatever it is you're choosing to experience into the now. You know, it's like right here, right now, and then when you're feeling it right now, that's what you're radiating out. That's what you're bringing to you. Powerful, simple, powerful. Maybe not easy for some people, but but it can be.
Yes, it's very easy. The only barrier is, are you going to do it or not?
Exactly.
That's the only barrier. And I say that because there is probably one thing that I would like to see more of. And I was just thinking about that today. Like, why haven't I put in the energy on that, you know? But one thing is, I guess Scott kind of reminded me of, is that, because one time I was like thinking about, you know, if God wanted us, like, can you imagine God being in a state of wanting, right? So I was like, could God want a steak right now? Yes, God could want a steak right now, but it's not a state of wanting. It's like, I want it, but I already have it. You know what I'm saying? And so just kind of like, we're in that image. We're created in the same image as God. And so I don't have to want anything. Like, I don't have it, I already have it. I just want to see more of it.
God say, let there be, and there was. How many things can we say, let there be? Let there be abundance, let there be peace, let there be freedom, you know, just whatever it is, let there be. And get into that energy of knowing that you're one with that divine energy, you're one with the universe. And as a great author titled a book, you know, it's at least 1 million ways that God can get you there, right? At least 1 million ways the universe can say, here it is.
And I think that's the first step too. Just acknowledging that you have that power is the first step in a new life.
But I do want to explore, I know we're out of time on this episode, but I want to explore something that Stephen said. And I don't know if y'all have a quick response to this or not, but Stephen was like, if you think you're not going to do good on your motorcycle test, then chances are you're not. And I was thinking about that when he said, and I've thought about this a lot of different times. It's like so many times when I thought I was not, thought I was going to fail the motorcycle test, and I didn't. and I passed with flying colors. So what do you think that's all about?
That's good, because I had that happen to me before too. You know, I had times as to where I thought things weren't going to go in a certain way for me, right? And just so happened it did. But it was more so of, I believed that it would, but I wasn't sure that it would pan out. So I was in between, I almost was like back and forth, back and forth. I had a state of doubt, but I also had my faith in believing that I knew it was gonna, you know, go the way that I seen it going. But I think I was leaning more towards faith, and I think that's how things played out for me.
And as you was just saying that you thought you weren't going to do well on the motorcycle test, but you did. Sometimes there are people that are thinking that they're not going to, thinking that they are going to do well, and they don't. But I think sometimes what happens is we have a conscious thought of a certain thing, but we have an unconscious thought of potentially the opposite. And so that unconscious thought is running around rapidly. It's almost, it's like a habitual type of thing. And so sometimes you have a person they've been used to thinking from a place of lack. They've been used to thinking from a place of not having enough. And so they have a conscious thought of having enough, of having success, but they don't allow that thought to go to a place of feeling. They don't really spend enough time with it. And so their unconscious thought is what drives it. Same thing in another scenario where maybe you went and passed this motorcycle exam. Chances are you were still kind of flowing off of your successes. It's like that energy of success, that thought pattern of success has been kind of driving. But it's almost like a habitual piece, a habitual thought that's moving us forward.
I would like to explore that more at some point.
I would like that.
All right. Well, thank y'all. Thank you. That was a good topic. So thank you guys for joining us, and we look forward to chatting with you again next week. Until then, this is Arvette.
And this is Steven.
Scott.
Teron.
Rodney.
Bye, y'all.